gather round for the Oke Farm Pondcast with Doug Davis.
All right, we're here again, Curtis. Number 10, double digits. And keeping with the spirit of things, we have no idea where this conversation is going to go. So here's where my mind's at, and you can, as usual, help guide me. I wanted to just talk about for a minute the way that I felt last Thursday night when we all got together for the potluck.
Yeah.
I know I've talked a little bit about in the past about not only but our collective excitement around this idea of the first or the last, well, it's going on 4.5, 5 years now of creating the infrastructure, the backbone, the gardens, the all the stuff, starting this year is when it's really activated.
Yeah.
And for me, as I look back years from now, I think one of the pivotal moments will be last Thursday night when you and Jenny and I and about 6 or 7 other families came together for the first time, not as a farm dinner where we have a chef involved and it's a paid seating for an experience. This was a 100% organic, 100% you pick something, you create something from the farm. We came together and we shared it with one another. And, as usual, I was really nervous going into it. I was just blown away. The words that come to mind are delighted, peaceful, excited, fulfilled. What were some of the takeaways that you and Jenny maybe had from that? Because I know it was meaningful to you as well.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, there was, I don't know, maybe, I don't get too emotional about things.
Right.
I don't know, maybe Jenny will disagree with that. As soon as she hears it, she'll be like, but there was a weight to that event that I think that you're speaking to that wasn't just felt by you or I, was felt by everybody there. And a couple of things maybe that I probably should have anticipated but didn't, was just the thoughtfulness and care that everybody put into what they brought.
Agreed.
And many of us right off the bat, as we started tasting some of these different selections of dishes that were brought, was immediately, and again, you mentioned our farm to table dinners, where we bring in really world-class level chefs.
Yeah.
And we've had
multiple courses.
We've had many of those.
Yes.
Yes. Maybe it was because it was organic and it was people, bringing stuff. It was like, God, food's a little bit better than what we do on the farm, like it was really good.
It was incredible.
I mean, you brought a Boston butt that was out of this world good, and just the variety of things. And I think what's going to happen is, because of that first one, rather than there being a drop off, I think we set the bar where now everybody's probably thinking, planning 2 weeks out, like,
right,
how am I going to outdo what I brought last time, to the event? And I mean, even the girls brought some desserts, and
the twin girl, yeah,
that were so good. I think you brought the comment, like, maybe we should have like a blue ribbon, given to the family who brings the best. Like, they would have won the blue.
Yeah,
they would have had to share the blue ribbon for sure. But back to the emotional part of it, and this spilled over into the weekend, and I shared this story with you a little bit, is a couple of our new residents who were there at the dinner. They spent some time over at our cabin with Jenny on Saturday, and they were juicing mayhaws. And it was a 4-hour process where they did multiple batches, steam juicing these. We actually got there's a video on our YouTube channel for people who may not know what a mayhaw is or may not know the juicing process. They can see what that is, and that juice is then used for a variety of things, and as we've talked about before, the mayhaw harvest is very short, so you want to capture that juice and then save it year round and use it for different things. But at different moments in the afternoon, I could sense something there as I was observing. And it was an emotional response for some new residents who, both of them on their own, said that they, in just the short time that they had been here, felt more a part of a community than they did from where they had lived previously for a long time.
Right.
In one case, I think maybe 15 years,
right.
In the same place. And I thought about that, and that struck me. And obviously, I've had that experience, and with the staff,
right?
Jenny and I have had that experience, and now now that's growing into this collective group of residents. And it reminded me of this quote. It's my favorite quote, and it's attributed to Jiddu Krishnamurti from the 50s.
Okay.
Although I've done some research, and there's actually nowhere where he actually said it, but he wrote some other things, and it's probably a condensed version of what he was trying to say. And it's no measure of health to be well adjusted to a profoundly sick society.
Say it again.
It's no measure of health.
Okay.
To be well adjusted to a profoundly sick society. Okay?
Yeah.
And I'll let you think about that for a moment, and I'll tell you what that means to me in my own experience. About 10 years ago, I had I'll just call it an episode for the viewers. That made me, it forced me into a place where I had to reevaluate everything in my life. And ultimately what came out of that was, and it's when I learned this quote, is that I was trying to assimilate into a profoundly sick society, right? We all grow up with certain values and principles that are instilled in us, hopefully by our parents. Some good, some bad.
Right.
And I'm very grateful and fortunate that I was instilled, I think, some very good principles and values from both my mom and dad growing up, and trying to make those work in today's society for many people, I think leaves them to a place of feeling disenfranchised with the world, maybe some cognitive dissonance. As you try to assimilate into things which we can, spend hours talking about that don't make sense in the world today, right?
Yeah.
And there could be a number of reasons for that, right? Yeah. And so the farm, and I was thinking about this, while it sits next to the National Wildlife Refuge, right? I believe the farm is also a refuge for people who've been broken.
Yeah.
Broken in society, who have been trying to well adjust themselves to a society that doesn't make sense. And when you bring your set of principles and values to the farm and adjust or assimilate into the farm, you're instantly rewarded with, good feelings, a sense of joy, a sense of camaraderie, something that harkens back to the way that communities used to exist for thousands and thousands of years.
I love
What do you think about that?
I mean, I just put an exclamation point on it, right? I mean, it's beautifully thought out. It's beautifully articulated. I don't know that I can add any more value verbally to what you've said, but I guess in my mind, what I get from that, and one of the ways that I was visualizing this discussion going when I first brought up the farm dinner is, what does it look like as we explore together what this place becomes? I mean, you and I have talked a little bit before about the early adopters out here will shape the trajectory of what the farm becomes. We've just talked about the beauty in the getting together, the community component of it. We've talked about, you've just brought up this beautiful metaphor of it being a refuge for the broken, which I love. I absolutely love, because my guess is that for someone who doesn't have a deep family network or a deep friends network, I've got to believe that this is a really hard world to live in these days. We've become increasingly connected digitally, but increasingly disconnected physically and emotionally.
Yeah.
And so I love the picture of this being a refuge for folks who are experiencing that, to realize that this is a place where it's analog. I mean, you while we do take advantage of the digital components, just like this podcast, the reality of it is you're operating in a very analog environment. And then the other piece of it too, and again, I don't even know how deep we want to go in this direction, but there's a component of the farm that that beyond the beauty of the day-to-day experiences, it's also a place that's resilient over time. And so we're building these relationships one-on-one, where each of us brings different talents. Each of us has different resources. And as we do continue to build the farm, in some ways, that resilience is not just a place of refuge, but it can also be a place of protection over time as well. And again, we don't often lead with the whole idea of this being a sovereign community.
Yeah.
But the reality of it is it kind of is, right?
Yeah.
And so it's kind of fun to think about that we're building a place where you can come and you can feel the love, you can feel the warmth, you can build your skills around learning how to homestead and learning how to, y'all were juicing and making fruit leather. And I mean, like it's fun, it's educational, and it's protective in a lot of these ways. How do you think about that? Is that it?
Yeah. And the other element of it too is that the struggle or the suffering is sort of built into it. It's a feature, not a bug, right?
Yeah.
Like that's what builds resiliency.
Yeah.
Whether it be having to overcome a drought that we've recently had, or there's hundreds of things that can go wrong with a farm, and that's expected, right? Like and so the same thing, if you apply that to the community building side of it, right? Like there's we're not naive enough to think that this is just going to be a perfect community that people are going to come into and everybody's going to treat each other well, right? Like no, the expectation is that within any community there are going to be conflicts that arise, there's going to be challenges. But I'll never forget this. Maybe this will help maybe pinpoint what I'm trying to say. One of our guests to one of our farm to table dinners earlier this year was asking about what life was like here, and was thinking about contemplating how you share the harvest, how you share the bounty that's here, right?
Right.
And the question was, well, how do you keep from somebody taking advantage of the harvest? Like, what if somebody moved in here and just like opened up a business and started, going out and harvesting things and selling them, I thought about it for a couple of seconds and I was like, well, one, we just kind of police ourselves, right? Because it's such a small community. I can't imagine anybody would move here and then instantly like try to get away with something,
Right.
or because you would be doing it in plain sight of everybody else,
Right.
right? And so, and that gets back to that, we've talked about it before, the Dunbar's number, right? Like
Yeah.
where the, the natural size community of being roughly 150 people, because you have to build trust
Right.
with your community. We lived and almost and what's really evolving here too is a gift economy.
Yeah.
A gift economy meaning that we bring our talents and our competencies and our creativity to the table, and we share that with one another. Sometimes it's in exchange for other services. If I'm good at this, I'll come over and do that.
Exactly.
I mean, and that is not that's in the broader South Georgia Folkston community. Like I've quickly caught on to that. Like, people will routinely, or any farming community, rural community, like if you need help putting up a barn or a house, the neighbors come and help out, right? Well, you bring that down into a community like ours, and what's interesting is we have a more diverse group of experiences and talents from people, because people are coming out of cities, not coming out of rural areas, right?
Right.
And so whether it be software development skills,
Right.
or building businesses, entrepreneurship, a lot of our new residents have a wellness and healthcare background, and alternative medicine background, functional medicine background, and like all these things are being combined. And and what I'm already seeing is that we're exchanging these services one another, even down to just the things that we make out of the mayhaw syrup, for example. And you mentioned fruit leather. That was one of the ideas that one of the new residents had to use to create some fruit roll-ups or fruit leather out of the spent mayhaws.
Right. That would have otherwise
we were just
animals.
We're just going to the animals. And I tried it, and mixed with a little bit of honey, farm honey, and a little bit of farm lemon. This stuff is better than anything that you can get at the store. And so have these little fairies now who are going around from house to house delivering these things that we're making and sharing with each other. So that's what I get excited about. That's a long-winded way of answering your question, but that's how I see the community going.
You're describing what I like to visualize as just this built-in resilience, because we're becoming increasingly more capable with all of these skills through the diversity of people that are moving in here. And the reason why, again, when I think about the farm, there's at least two ways to visualize it. The most fun way is to visualize the day-to-day life, and that's literally the joy that we get to share with our neighbors and our friends, just enjoying the bounty of the day. The other way to look at it is, to be fair, a sovereign community capable of withstanding challenges and other things that occur in a very crazy world that we live in today. And as you're describing not only the farm but the community in which we belong, we're talking about this beautiful decentralized bartering system almost that is, can you imagine if you're in downtown Chicago or somewhere else, heaven forbid you ever needed something was to happen. I mean, where would you even begin? I mean, you're completely reliant on these industrial systems that have been built out that just take money and just take, being plugged into these. And so again, while this isn't what we focus on, the beauty of the farm is you're capturing all of these things, both intentionally and unintentionally. And I get real excited about that. And, as I'm thinking about and I'm talking about operation systems and communication, and without going into all that though, we have within the just digital technology today recently created this farm portal. And the farm portal was really born out of this desire to connect our owners together, to create a place where they can come and at a glance see the potluck dinners. But there's also a lot of other activities too that we've engaged. So it kind of in the spirit of this being the activation phase, I think we've recently talked about, we've introduced our protein program, which is expanding and blowing up. We've got our potlucks. We've got our yoga.
Yeah.
We've got our yoga classes. We have work days where people can lend not only their muscle, but then they also are learning more about the planting and the harvesting and stuff. And so as we continue to build out all of these things, I think about just the resilience of a place to live. What are, out of kind of the portal and all of these things, what are some of the things that you're most excited about?
Yeah, let's start with the event calendar, right? You've already named off several of the things that are on there. We've got three yoga classes a week now being taught by Jenny, who has shared on this podcast before how she got her yoga certification, yoga training certification while living here. And her gift back to, it's not a business, her gift back to the community is, because she loves doing it, is to offer these yoga classes. And, she set them up so that, it's not only available to residents, but she has them after work hours now too, so that some of the staff, so the benefits that staff can enjoy. If you're working in a garden all the time and you're not properly stretching, or you're not, think about how beneficial it's going to be to them, not only the physical side, but also the mental well-being side that yoga brings. So that's just one area. We talked about how residents can get engaged with the operations of the farm, whether it be the garden team or the animal team, in now a structured way. Like when we showed up here, we kind of had to, figure out how we can best support the team without getting in their way, right? Because we didn't know what we were doing, but we wanted to helpful, and they were very gracious to us and taught us, and we figured out a schedule. Well, now, as we've got more residents coming in here, and we'll have more people coming here, we've structured that a little bit. So if you are a person who, it doesn't matter what stage of life you're in, right? Like if you're here, and let's say you've got a remote job, so you've got a remote job, you need to be available in your cabin, in your office, working for some period of time. You can structure your schedule and your breaks around times when there's something going on the farm. And we have something going every day now, and it won't be long until that calendar will be full. So if there's something that you're interested in and want to do, you'll be able to do that at any time of the day. And almost all of these things are complimentary. It's not like you're paying additional fee, because usually the person who's providing it is doing it on a volunteer basis. Gets back to this gift economy thing. Like, I can't wait to add some regular times in there for fishing, and some trips out into the St. Mary's and trips into the swamp, and even fishing in our own ponds. And so again, you just start thinking about how that grows and how that evolves as more people come here. So that's one area of the portal. Obviously, we have all of our proteins and provisions now available. So you've got a marketplace, as we've talked about. As a resident here, there are things that are included in your monthly harvest fee that you can go out and harvest yourself, whether it be eggs, produce, things of that nature. Our proteins and some of our other products, whether it be our olive oil or honey or something like that. If you need some from the pantry, you simply place an order on your mobile phone, and someone will deliver it to your cabin. Now I'm helping out on the delivery side right now, and because we don't have that many people, I mentioned to one of our residents yesterday, I'm setting unrealistic expectations for delivery times because it's so new and novel,
Right.
And we'll just have to see.
I visualize having other folks that become ambassadors, like that be a gift. Maybe they're not teaching in the class, but maybe they're volunteering. Because again, this whole idea is to allow people the opportunity, not to task them, but allow them the opportunity to serve. Because you get so much more out of service than you do being served. But well, one of the last things I wanted to hit that's in the spirit of experiencing the farm is this new program that we're going to be unlocking, and by the time folks probably hear this podcast, it'll probably be formally announced.
Yeah.
But it's this, I think you would agree, and I know we've said it here before, the only way to really understand the farm is to come to the farm.
Yeah.
And the only way to really engage with the farm is to spend some time here.
Yeah.
And so I'm really excited about this new program, this immersion program that we're opening up called the Farm Experience. And so it's this idea, we've got a couple of cabins in the orchard where folks can come and literally understand what it's like to be an owner here, right? Like they spend 24 hours. We can expand that if they need it or want it, but the idea is they would spend 24 hours. They would do a full immersion where they come with our team and experience the gardens, the animals, the lifestyle. They would harvest food that they would prepare in the cabin themselves. They would experience the night skies here, the peacefulness, the quiet, waking up, gathering eggs, cooking eggs with their loved one, or if their family's here. Like, I am super excited about that because I think when folks actually come and do that, it's going to change them. And they may not want to be an owner here at the farm, but they're going to get a taste of what it can be like re-engaging in the natural world and in living off the land to some degree. So I'm super excited about that program. So be looking for that. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, for sure. It's if you just come here for one of our farm table dinner events, or even just a wagon tour or something like that, like you get a little taste of the farm, but it's for that couple hour window. And what's amazing about the farm, what I love, especially this time of year, is how much it changes just within 24 hours. So yesterday morning it was a little cooler. We had some rain, some much needed rain. And then by mid-afternoon, the sun broke, and I love these, early summer, late spring, early summer evenings where, the sun is setting. You may have some rain clouds in the distance, so you've got that nice contrast of something dark against something bright blue, and then the orange, the sun casting light across the farm. When I came home last night, and everything was still just kind of wet, but it was just gorgeous, just absolutely gorgeous. And as I'm driving back in, I was like, I just want to capture this moment and this feeling for everybody, because if you're only here for a couple of hours, you'll miss this. Whereas for 24-hour period, at a minimum, you're going to get to experience things like that, how beautiful and peaceful it is at night. And you are welcomed in. I'm like, we love seeing people who are on the short stays.
Right.
We see them in the standing gardens, or meet them at the Chick Mansion. And hopefully we can figure out a way to get them involved with resident events as well, so that they can kind of experience what it's really like to be a resident for that. And because that's the purpose of it, I think, for a lot of these folks. Yeah. And I think if anything that I said earlier in this episode about trying to maybe force yourself into being well adjusted into society out there, if any of that sort of resonates with you, and you want to experience what it's like outside of that in a place like the farm, this would be a great opportunity to do so.
Yeah. Well said. I think that would actually be maybe a good way to end this episode.
Sure.
All right. So to close it off, let's figure it out. What do you think?
Let's say, I don't think I've used this one yet. Interconnected, and I'm out.
I'm going to use a word we were talking with Jeff about earlier. euphoric, and I'm out.
All right.